Only with the heckling, that's what slows it down. Right, good evening everybody. Welcome to the meeting of the full council on Wednesday 6th of April 2016 at 7:30 in the council chambers. If you have noticed already, we are having our proceedings filmed tonight, so I've discussed the matter with and we are of the opinion the easiest way for people to see who's speaking is if we don't suspend the standing order requiring us to stand to speak, and then at least that way when we stand up people know where the voices come from. Okay? So item 2, attendance register. Has everyone signed the attendance register, please? Yep, jolly good. Apologies for absence. I've been advised of Pete Rees and Mark Shaw. Yep. Mark's away on business, I know, and Pete's on holiday. Okay. Does anyone? Thank you, Christine, propose to accept, and Cornelius seconds that. Those in favour of accepting those apologies, and that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Right, item 4. Declaration of members' interest and applications for dispensation. Does anyone have any?
Dave? The one. Item 16, 17.
Is it item 16, yeah. Dave?
Yeah.
The Royal
in my declaration of interest to the council, I do declare that I'm a member of Canberra. So okay. I'm asking for dispensation in order that I can address that item. I have no financial interest whatsoever in any shape, form or part of any of the outcomes.
So you're formally requesting dispensation of the clerk. So you'll need to do that. Right, so I believe you need to sign the forms, which are over there, aren't they? On there? Excellent. Good. Well done, Cornelius.
I'm just drawing your attention to 20A and 20B. I know some of the people who are involved, so I don't know if that requires any dispensation or...
I'll ask the clerk to rule on it, but our normal experience, and I'll defer to the chair of planning, is that in a small town like this, we all know everybody, don't we? So unless there's a pecuniary advantage, we normally agree. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And then I've got to declare a pecuniary interest in item 21, accounts for payment, as I travelled on your behalf to London to attend a conference, and I've received the train fare back. So that's it. So I shall need to leave the room, and Alec will take the chair for that one item. It's the ruling. Okay.
What is that? Now
I managed to park.
Is that now to? That's what you should do.
It's the clerks.
Yeah. Oh, that's the. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Jolly good. On we go then. So
I've got, Chair, just
yes,
for you, depending upon where we go with it, I've got the business zones. If members are happy, I'll sit in. If I think you're getting to making some sort of decision on something, I'll withdraw. Okay. That's acceptable.
Happy with that, Neil?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Well done. And sorry, welcome, Lindsay. Okay, we've got Lindsay right. Okay, so we're up to item 5 to confirm the minutes of the council meeting held on Wednesday, the 2nd of March 2016.
Opposed.
Thank you, Sam. And Miranda, thank you for seconding. Those in favour? And that's unanimous. Okay, we now come to the democratic 15 minutes, an opportunity for the public to speak. There is one member of public here who's actually filming us. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening.
Did you wish to address any matters to the council?
No.
No? All right, thank you very much. So I'll then move to item 7, which is the clerk's report and actions since last meeting. Which one?
Sorry.
No, all right, no problem.
Right, as has been the case for a number of months, top of the list is the skate park. You all have noticed that the metalwork has now been installed, and as of a week last Friday, Good Friday, it was ready for us to allow kids on sort of officially onto the actual skate park area with the metalwork in place. So what's gone on there now are some grind boxes, for those of you that want to know the details, some rails, all sorts of different gizmos that they can sort of use their skateboards on, or scooters, or bikes. Looks have gone on. We've got a few little snags that we need to sort out, which we'll address. The contractor's actually gone away on holidays back today, and just waiting to finalise the inspection date, which will be next week. And we'll have a site meeting once that's convened with the contractor, the inspector, and agree any remedial work that needs to be carried out on the park. And then no doubt we'll get a completion inspection, hopefully without any issues, and we can officially declare it fully open. So that's where we are at the moment. Hoping that everything will be all right, but certainly the feedback's real. The only issue I can report at the moment is we've got an increase in the amount of litter in the area, which, despite there being 3 bins around the skate park, 2 of them actually almost touching it, those that are using it seem to be averse to putting the litter straight into the bins. So, so that's something we'll have to sort of monitor and keep an eye on. But I suspect that will be an ongoing problem until we sort of get topside of it. At least, fingers crossed, everything's all okay. Whilst we're on the skate park and Todd's piece, made you aware of an incident last week with a young lad that fell off the swing. And please say his mum's been in contact to say that he's okay. The air ambulance was diverted because of the nature of the potential problem. He was complaining about his back, and we sort of immobilised him, stopped him from moving. It just so happened that there was high volume of calls on that Friday afternoon at sort of 4 o'clock, and it was easier and quicker to get the air ambulance that was passing than it was to actually get an ambulance to him quicker. So, so convenient in one way, but it probably was over the top in another. But with a back or head injury, you can't be too careful. So anyway, he's making good progress. Went to hospital for an X-ray. I think he's more worried about his street cred than necessarily about his injuries now. But he's making good recovery. His mum would like us to recognise the 4 kids that were there that helped support and called the ambulance before myself and Andy Wiley got out there. We were sort of 3 or 4 minutes after the incident happened, but they'd already got on the phone, mobile phone, and started calling the ambulance, which was really good. So I'll get a letter done to sort of recognise their efforts later this week. I'm just waiting for their details to come in, and we'll do a little thank you to them for doing it. Town Council website. We launched during the month the local directory, had a really positive response. We've now got some people putting their information on, loading it up themselves, and coming back with little tweaks or little changes they want, or pictures they want adding to the website, which is fantastic. I was out and about in town on Friday and got a thumbs up from a couple of people who said, oh, it looks really good, and actually I've just noticed the rest of the website, which is super. So some good feedback there.
Sorry,
just a comment on that. If people can freely access the website, I mean, you can go on and upload stuff. Can you actually go and say, don't shop here, it's a load of, you know, they're not very good.
No, you can't do that. It comes into a holding bay for me to approve.
Well, that was the question really I needed to.
Can I just remind members we are standing still. Sorry, carry on. Yeah.
In terms of priorities for April, we've got a neighbourhood plan committee, we've got the design review with Bloor Homes, we've also got the grant finder review for the town hall funding. We've now got quite a few sources to look at and review, so we've scheduled something there. End of financial year preparation is going well. I managed to close off March, everything balances, all the VAT tallies and everything else. The only thing I've got to do is just the accruals that will reflect in the final end of year figures when we punch them through. So, and I've just got a little bit of work to do on that before I finally sort of progress them. We've also got the annual town meeting, which you've had your notices for that. That's on the 20th. And I'm just in the process, which is one of the internal audit requirements, of refreshing our asset register. It's work I started with a lad that had been doing this sort of short-term work with me for March and for February and March. And I'll then finish it off ready for when the internal auditor comes back. You'll see in the next 10 days the draft of the spring newsletter. Whether it be right to call it spring by the time it comes out, but hopefully it'll be after spring newsletter. So that'll get circulated around in draft format for you to give some views and comments to. I won't touch on the stuff out to June. The only item I'll pick out there is I've had my results back from my Silka in driving test parlance. Out of 24 units, I failed one miserably, which is the budgeting one, which is a technicality, I think, but there you go. I'll tell you why it's a technicality in a minute. And then I had 3 minors, which were effectively a bullet point that's wrong on a submission. The major one, the budgeting one, was quite interesting because they didn't tell me this at the training, but I submitted all of our budget process for last year and the stuff we've just done and submitted and put in, and I can't submit the current year, I've got to submit the previous year. So even if I'd have done it differently or done it completely wrong, because I submitted this year, it wouldn't have counted. So anyway, so there we go. But I'll do that in the next sort of, hopefully get that sorted and put to bed within 3 weeks.
Leave the question now.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
I will, Sam. I might come and sit down with you to just check I've got the understanding right. We've got a view there of the meeting scheduled. Attached to your and including your packs, and we'll have this for the annual council meeting, is a schedule of meetings for you to put in your diaries. Just a reminder, obviously, the first Wednesday of the month is always the full council, and the third one is committees. If you keep that lodged in your minds and then put into your diaries, generally you won't go far wrong, but there are the dates. I just wanted to call out, the reason I put this extended table in was to also give some other dates as guidance for the meetings I have with the Mayor and Deputy Mayor. I'm conscious that we are producing more papers for submission and review and everything else, and it really helps if we can give members sufficient time to try and read them. I'm consciously trying to get as much of my stuff done and issued so it's in print in a pack for you, so you've got time to read it, and I'd just like to try and make sure we can do that where possible with as many other papers as we can, so that we give people due time to sort of consider them. So that's why there's a more detailed pack, and these are dates by which it's helpful if I can then review these with the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and make sure we've got, you know, a suitable agenda for you to look at and be part of and benefit from, and the community benefit from. So have a look at those. If there's any questions, by all means let me know. But start putting them in your diary, and obviously we will vote them through in due course. Other than that, I think it's pretty straightforward. Nothing else that needs to sort of raise.
Very comprehensive, thank you, Neil. Everyone happy with that? Dave?
Can you update us, I'm not sure if this is for everyone, just about the incident last Saturday to prevent all sorts of rumours from it?
Yeah, I think it's not, first things first, I would say it's not what you want to hear in terms of an incident locally. I believe the house was broken into. It may be termed sort of aggravated burglary, I think is how it would be badged if you were given it a label. There were 3 people that broke into the property between 10 and 10:30 at night, the view is potentially that it was a speculative break-in from the point of view that the property looked like it was probably unoccupied. There's actually been a similar number of incidents of this nature across Lincolnshire, Leicestershire and Rutland. Not sure that it's the same people, but if you look at the stats of the last couple of weeks, there's actually been a number of reports of a similar sort of thing, which I'm led to believe, I don't know because I didn't look at the figures last year, but Easter holidays, the perception that quite a few people will be away on holiday and therefore properties may be empty or may appear to be empty or look like they're not occupied. And it's in speculation, but the view is that because of the appearance of this property, it was probably held that it was actually empty, but actually it wasn't. There was somebody asleep at sort of 10 o'clock at night, and they met on the stairs. and that's when they effectively ask for, I think, wallet and some cash or whatever he got in his possessions, and then those sort of left and vacated the premises. The means of entry, how they got in, whatever else, I think that's the bit I don't, is sort of speculation. Whether I've heard that one of them was masked and various other bits and bobs, but I don't know that that's can be corroborated or confirmed. But I understand the gentleman is doing fine. He's more concerned about the damage to his door that's been caused in sort of breaking. But that happened on the Johnson Road.
Sorry, Chair. So, why is that council business? I'm sorry, obviously missed the plot somewhere there.
No, sorry, you're absolutely right, Brian, it's not council business, it's we were discussing it beforehand, and there seem to be various versions of that.
Okay. Should we move on then? Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for that comprehensive report. We'll move to item 8, which is to receive reports from representatives working with external bodies. I noticed my name appears on here a few times. I've been writing some reports for you, so I'll use my prerogative to start with my reports, and then I'll invite anyone else to come in. Yeah. So the first thing was I am the representative for the council on the Uppingham Town Centre and Business Zones Task Group, and when I say I prepared you a report, that's somewhat disingenuous of me, because in actual fact the minutes prepared by Lord Simpson were so comprehensive that I didn't feel I could particularly add to them. So on this occasion I simply asked Neil to send these around, and the key things that I want to bring to your attention is attached. There's two things in here we need to think about. One is attached to these minutes is the feedback from the resident consultation data, which I personally found really interesting. And although you're receiving the report tonight, so we can't debate it, I did think that at some stage it would be a useful thing for us to talk about this data in some detail. And I just give one example was the question about how do you normally travel into town. I'm going to say pleasantly surprised, if I can be, that 147 respondents out of, I think it was 203, actually went into town on foot, which was quite surprising to me, and 40 people went by their car. I think anecdotally, if I'd have been asked how do most people go to town, I might not have got that answer, so I found that quite interesting. So there's loads of data there. This is the first in a number of questionnaires, but this is the only one that so far has been discussed by the task group, so that's why we're able to produce this one to you. As the task group discusses other ones, we'll no doubt be sharing those as well. And then the one piece of information here that we need to take a decision on, so I asked Neil to add to the item, apart from receiving the report, it also says in the item to consider the update, and a proposal is to extend my own role, which is I am our representative on the task group. The proposal from the task group is in, I think, anticipation and hope that the government might choose Uppingham to be one of its vanguard towns. It would seem appropriate to put in place a shadow vanguard committee in case we do get chosen. So the committee would do some preparatory work, so that if the opportunity came for us to be, we say vanguard, it's kind of like front runner, to do things, that we have a committee in place. And it seems sensible to me, and obviously if members disagree, please say so, but it seems sensible to me that as I'm the rep on the thing, I might as well extend my duties and be on the vanguard. How say you to that?
Propose.
So Alex proposed, Christine has seconded.
Just can I ask?
Of course you can.
Who? Not auntie. I just
Okay,
want to know
that's
who
all
else
right,
is. Sorry, yeah. Who else is on? What is this shadow vanguard?
Can I ask Councillor Simpson to
I'll
answer?
say what we know. Two things. One is we're being encouraged by government to seek what they're going to call vanguard status. The town.
Yeah,
the town.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, and it's doing that through the town centre business zone plan group. Okay. And our understanding of that is, I'll call it, for want of a better description at the moment, a sort of liaison group. So the vanguard group will have a group of people drawn from different sectors, and you county council